Hey, gorgeous! Welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast with Holly Wharton, which combines powerful strategies on how to upgrade your business mindset along with practical business tips to grow your business. This podcast features solo shows with Holly and also interviews with inspiring women entrepreneurs from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us today. And now, here's your host, Holly Wharton.
Hello and welcome to the Business Mindset Podcast, episode 182. This is your host, Holly Wharton, and I'm here with today's special guest, Regan Hillyer. Regan specializes in helping experts uncover their true message and launch powerful personal brands, helping them make a big impact and build a legacy. Regan has trained thousands of people, helping them build multiple 6- and 7-figure businesses, location-free, using powerful mindset-changing tools and cutting-edge business development strategies. Welcome, Regan.
Hi, Holly. Thanks for having me.
I'm excited to have you on the show today. So tell us a little bit about your background and your business journey and how you got to where you are today.
Yeah, absolutely. So, there's really two core things that I help people with. One side of things is success mindset and helping people shift their external reality by starting within. And then the other side of it is really around, what is this message that someone's born to share with the world? And then how do we pull that out of someone, monetize that, and build an empire around that so that they can have a bigger impact? So, my journey really started off organically with me searching for my own passion and purpose and really asking some big questions at a young age. I've got a degree in architecture, not that I've ever used it in my life, but I was sitting there in this lecture when I was a university student, and one of my lecturers said, hey, look, I want you to picture your life, 5, 10, 20 years out from now. And I sat there and I closed my eyes and I visualized it, and I just didn't really like what I saw. And I just got this feeling in the pit of my stomach that, man, you know what? I feel like I'm not doing the right thing and I feel like there's more. And so I got up and left, and I knew what I didn't want to do with my life, but I had no idea what I did want to do, right? So that's what spurred me into the world of personal development and coaching and really, figuring out my own stuff, my own mindset, how to make money and a bigger impact myself first. And then I think it was quite an organic process where I shifted into basically then helping people do the same thing.
Excellent. So what were your biggest challenges for you as you were building your business?
Oh, look, there's many. There's definitely many, and I don't think challenges ever stop. You're always faced with problems that you need to solve and blocks and limits that you need to work through. Look, I think one of the biggest things, not just for me, but for a lot of people starting out and actually in business, is just self-belief. Really getting into the mindset of backing yourself that you've got this and you can do this. And I think that people think, people that are really successful have rock solid belief, and it's not really the case. I truly believe that, the voices in your head and the fear, it never really goes away because we're human at the end of the day. And the bigger the game we play, the worse it can get actually, but it's more, what is your ability to tap in and actually handle that stuff? So yeah, that's something in terms of self-belief that I've really had to work on and continuously reaffirm to myself that I've got this.
And how did you work to get past those fears that were coming up as you were building your business?
Yeah, look, I think the biggest thing is really just having an awareness and giving yourself permission to be human. If you get into the mindset of going, oh, why am I feeling like this? Or why is this fear coming? And I shouldn't be feeling this fear. Then, that is a limit within itself. So for me, it's very much going, okay, cool. I'm feeling some sort of fear right now. Well, okay, that's a good thing. It means that I'm growing. It means that I'm moving forward. It also means that I'm wired to protect myself. So that's okay. And then what I generally do is I go, okay, cool. Well, what's on the other side of what I'm looking to achieve? So whatever is the goal or the big picture reality or the outcome that I'm moving towards, I try and get into the mindset of, okay, if I've already achieved that, then what does my reality look like on the other side of that? Because the more that you can show your mind what's coming after the goal, the more it can actually go, oh, you're safe, right? And the fear can start to diminish because your mind has got a clear path as to where you're actually headed.
Yeah, exactly. And that also gets your mind more excited about, okay, so this is really scary now, but if I do this, then I get this reward.
Right.
Yeah. So how did you help kind of keep your mindset in the right place so that you could do all of this as you were building your business?
Yeah, look, I'm been really, really, really committed to a daily mindset routine. It's something that I've done for many, many, many years and continually do even now. I think most people would wake up and they wouldn't not brush their teeth and they wouldn't not have a shower. Well, I wouldn't not do my mindset work as well. It's kind of in the same category as hygiene. I mean, it's very much the thing that gets me in the zone. It's the thing that creates the most income, the most impact. It creates rapid results for me. So for me, if I drop that, I really notice my results slow down. So that's definitely one thing that I've committed to and will continue to commit to moving forward.
So tell us a little bit more about this daily mindset routine. How long does it take you? What does it consist of? How did you come up with it?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, it very much has been an organic process over time. I've done a lot in terms of investing in myself and personal development and trying out lots of different mindset tools. I really don't believe that there's one secret tool that really does it. It's more about finding what works for you. So, for example, for me, I love journaling and I journal every single day. And for me, putting pen to paper is a very kind of easy thing to do. And it's something that can really get me into that zone versus someone else might not enjoy writing, so that might be something really challenging, but they might love to meditate, for example, for an hour, or visualize or say affirmations out loud. And I think it's really just a matter of finding your groove and what works for you and then actually committing to it daily. And for me, a huge part of it is journaling and visualization.
I love that. And I love how you say that you've got to find what works for you, because I think so many people out there have this kind of cookie cutter approach to this is what your routine should be. This is what you need to do for success. And like you said, some people love journaling. Some people hate it.
Right.
So you've got to find what works for you, really. It's very, very much an individual process.
Yes, I agree.
So, and I love also what you said about how you notice a difference if you don't follow the routine and how it really has set you up for success in your business.
Yeah, definitely.
How long have you been doing this morning routine?
I think it's definitely evolved over time. I think even, the level of journaling that I do now is different to, say, a couple of years ago. But look, I mean, I must have first started going, wow, this stuff is actually important and I need to set up my day properly, probably about 8 years ago now. So, it's been a while.
And I love how you said that it's evolved over time because, of course, what served you 8 years ago is not necessarily going to serve you today.
Right, exactly. And that's the thing to know is that, I truly believe that the most successful people in life are the most flexible people. So the minute that you lock yourself into thinking that there's only one way to do something, you're really limiting yourself. So I think it's more important to look at, well, okay, what is the habit that I need to commit to and be okay to have moving pieces in between that.
Exactly. And you know what results you want to be getting from this morning routine. So if what you're doing isn't quite getting you those results, then you kind of got to see what do I need to tweak to get to what I want.
Right, absolutely. And that's the thing. It is just a matter, especially if you're starting out with mindset work, of jumping in and trying new things and really exploring and getting into the zone with it and also noticing the difference between, am I resisting this because it's something that I actually do need to go and work on, or is it just something that is just not for me? And that's okay as well. And then, moving forward into finding your groove with something that really works.
Yes. Okay. I love what you just said. And this is a conversation I've had with so many people. So, how do you tell the difference, you personally, between something that's not right for you, it's not quite aligned, and something that's just kind of a stretch outside of your comfort zone, and that's why it doesn't feel good?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, I'm really big on alignment and I talk about this a lot. And so, look, I tend to go firstly, well, what am I aligning to? Because I think a lot of people are trying to get into alignment, so to speak, but they don't know what they're aligning to. And then, yeah, sure, that's really difficult if you don't know what you're aligning to, right? So I always go, okay, well, what am I aligning to? I'm aligning to my big picture reality that I'm looking to create. So firstly, I lock that in and I ask myself, okay, if I could create this ultimate reality and remove any sense of how do I do that, or what are people going to think, or is that too big, or who am I to achieve that? If we were just to park all of that to the side and unapologetically ask for what you actually want, then that is what you want to align to. So then it's simply a matter of going, okay, cool. Well, what I'm looking to do day to day, is that in alignment with this big picture reality? Is that going to move me closer to actually calling this big picture reality in at a rapid speed? And if the answer is yes, then you should probably go and do it, right? Versus, no, I don't think that's the fastest way to do that, in which case you go, okay, cool, it's probably not totally in alignment for me to be doing this right now. And look, this doesn't just come down to, say, morning routines and mindset practices. This is everything. Like, this is when you're faced with a decision in your life and your business. This is when a person walks into your life. This is when a deal or an opportunity arises, and you simply need to just do a little internal check and go, is this actually in alignment with where I'm heading?
Yeah, that makes sense. Excellent. So, Regan, what are your top tips on how entrepreneurs can call in their cult tribe who love them? I think this is something that a lot of entrepreneurs really, really struggle with. It's like they see other people out there online who have this thriving tribe of people who love them, and they want that, but they don't even know where to get started. So what are your top tips?
Right, absolutely. Look, I think the first thing to know is really, ask yourself, who is it that you actually want in your tribe? Who is it that you actually want to work with? I see a lot of people, especially when they're starting out, actually create their tribe from a space of who they think they should be working with versus who they're actually called to work with. And it's an easy trap to fall into. Society kind of conditions us, through corporate structures and systems to go, okay, well, when you're new, you've got to start at the beginning, and then after a certain amount of time, you can progress up. And then eventually, if you put in the work over the years, maybe then you'll be at kind of like the top with some success, right?
Yeah.
And we kind of like, either we've been in that in our lives in a corporate role, or we've seen that play out all around us, either way. So it's a very natural mindset to think, well, I have to do the same thing with my tribe. I have to start at the beginning with people I don't really like working with, and then work my way up until I deserve to work with the high level people that I desire. And right, I just think that's rubbish, to be honest, and you can go straight in at the top, right? Yeah. And it really is simply a matter of going, well, who do I actually want to work with, right? And what does this look like? And firstly, giving yourself permission to actually start where you actually desire, not where you think you should be starting.
Yeah, that makes sense. So once you've determined who you want in your tribe, who you want to work with, what's the next step?
Look, I would really encourage you to go, okay, cool. How are these people driven as a tribe? How are they driven emotionally? So you might say something like, okay, cool. I kind of get a feeling that I want to work with, say, women that are, roughly, 35 to 45 that are, really successful but wanting more. You might have the basics, but I would then go a layer deeper and go, okay, cool. What are the emotional drivers that are actually sitting underneath the surface? Because here's the difference between people that call in a cult tribe and people that simply build a community. People that build a cult tribe understand down to a T how their tribe is driven emotionally, versus someone that just builds a community is simply speaking at people, right? Not into people. So I would be asking questions like, okay, and you're not going to get one person, by the way, that hits all of this, but collectively as a tribe, as a community, what is going on emotionally? What are their fears? What are their concerns? What keeps them lying awake at night, staring at the ceiling? What's playing on their mind, right? What are their dreams and their goals and their aspirations, but also what are their secret desires? Like, what are the things where they're not openly telling people, but if you were to say, hey, do you want to do this? They'd be like, oh my gosh, yes, how did you know, right? What is all of that stuff? What is the pathway they're on? Where are they at now? And where are they looking to be? Because everyone's looking to shift from A to B, right? They're looking to shift from some result in their life to some greater result in any area of their life. So I would be looking at, what are those transitions that they're going through? Because then if you can jump in and speak to them on an emotional level and show them that you can help them get further along that pathway, I mean, that's the core of it at the end of the day.
Excellent. And how do you recommend that entrepreneurs really get this information? Because this is deep, sometimes dark stuff. It's, as you said, their secret desires. This is hidden stuff that maybe they're not even aware of at the surface level. It's just kind of hidden in the back of their mind. They've got it shoved back there. So how do you recommend that entrepreneurs kind of dig up this information and get to know this tribe of people?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, firstly, you can honestly just go there yourself first, and you can simply put yourself into their mindset and go, well, if I were them, what would my secret desires be, and what would I be thinking about? Because generally, I mean, we're all humans at the end of the day. So generally, we actually have the ability to tap into that stuff ourselves. In saying that, obviously, the closer that you can get to your ideal tribe members, the more you're going to understand them. And I definitely see this, when people are starting out, they jump in and they kind of assume what their tribe is going through, and then they message and they put that stuff out there and they start to call people in. And the minute they start working with people closely, they start actually really understanding all of the stuff that their tribe is going through. So I would just say do whatever it takes to get closer to these people, be it getting to know them or going to events where they hang out and really, watching their behavior and listen to their conversations, work with them, in a group setting or privately, ask them questions, really understand what's going on in their head and where they're at. Because again, the more you can speak to that, the more they're just going to be magnetized towards you.
Yeah, that's really good. And I remember someone once recommending doing a lot of discovery calls at the beginning. So even if you're not trying to get people onto your programs because you're just starting out in business, but just discovery calls to get to know the pain points of these people.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, that's definitely something I did years and years and years ago when I was first starting out. So I think it's definitely a great idea. And look, I would go in as well, with something, with an offer basically that you can still move them to the next level. I see a lot of people get into the mindset of going, okay, well, kind of like you said, I'll do discovery calls just to get to know my community. And it puts them into this mindset of, oh, well, I'm not really ready to help them yet, when chances are you probably are. So I would try and do both at the same time. I'd go in with the intention of having a discovery call and getting really curious and setting the intention to understand them better. But at the end of that, actually going, well, how can I help you shift to where you need to be as well?
Excellent. So, as we discussed earlier, your daily mindset routine has changed over the last 8 years. How do you think your cult tribe has changed over the last 8 years?
Oh, my tribe has changed drastically. You know what? I very much, especially when I was starting out, I was very much in the mindset of, who should I be working with? Who am I expected to be working with? Who am I allowed to work with given my current ability or level, which is, just crazy. And I really wish that I had someone that could have shaken me at that point in time, just like I shake people now and say, hey, like, you don't have to start at the beginning and work your way up. You can actually just choose to work with your soulmate clients now, right? So yeah, and it's really interesting. I mean, I remember clearly about 5 years ago, and my business was a different business, and I'd built this community. It wasn't online, so I was doing a lot of offline speaking and coaching and training. And I remember, part of the event, at the end of the event, I'd take this group of clients out to dinner. And I remember after the dinners always being kind of drained, pretty tired, and kind of going, okay, cool. Now that work is done, that's done. And I remember thinking, they're very much my clients, but they're not my friends. I would never hang out with them socially by choice, but it's okay. They're my clients. Whereas now what's really interesting is that anything I do, especially in person with my clients, I'm energized by, I'm super excited by, I absolutely love, these are the people that I would hang out socially with just by choice, right? Because they're my type of people. And now I've consciously called them in. But if I was to do it again, I really wish that I would have just given myself permission to call in those types of people that I desired to work with from the beginning, rather than thinking I had to work my way up to that.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And I think also as we grow and as we transform, the people we attract is going to change as well.
Absolutely. It definitely is. Even in the last 3 months in my business, and I mean, technically they're not really clients, but more some partnership deals with people that I'm doing, very much a year ago, I wouldn't have attracted those partnerships into my life purely just because my mindset wasn't at that level yet, which is fine. But I definitely believe it's in proportion, who you're working with and who you call in. It's in proportion to your own mindset and obviously the work that you're doing within as well.
Yeah, I think that's a very, very good point, because we change over years as entrepreneurs, and of course the people we we attract will be different. So do you have any more tips on once people have kind of found their tribe, they've started calling people into it, they're understanding them emotionally, what then? What's the next step?
Well, the next step is obviously to add value, right? And you want to be doing this daily through messaging. So, I always say the person that shows up the most, the person that messages the most, the person that adds the most value and creates the most content is always going to win. I have people say to me, oh, Regan, I just don't feel like, I've built this community, but I don't feel like it's a cult tribe. I just don't feel like they're really connected with me. And I always ask, right, how much are you showing up? And they're like, oh, here and there, once a week, once every 2 weeks. I'm like, it needs to be daily. Like you need to become a part of their daily routine, that they tap into your message and your content, right? So you need to be showing up and doing that. And then, of course, asking yourself, well, how can I help solve these problems, right? Well, how can I help solve the problems of my tribe? Because otherwise you'll just be this kind of inspirational person that they follow and love, but ultimately you're not really going to impact them or create any change in their life. And you're definitely not going to monetize your tribe if you're not actually presenting offers that solve their problems. So it's a kind of basic thing when you think about it, but it's something that so many people miss. I always say, especially online, you need to get your message out there. You then need to get in front of the right people, but then you need to make them irresistible offers that actually solve their problems.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because a lot of people do show up, they create content, but then they don't have the right products and services to solve these people's needs.
Yeah, and you just have to ask yourself at the end of the day, look, what are their biggest problems? I always tell people, you get paid in proportion to the level of the problem that you're helping solve, right?
Yeah.
It's that simple. I mean, if you're like Mark Zuckerberg and you solve the problem of literally socially connecting everyone all throughout the whole entire world, right? You're going to get paid in proportion to that versus someone that's helping one person on a really smaller scale with a tiny problem in their life. So I would always be asking yourself, what are the biggest problems that my tribe is facing right now, and how can I add value and help transition them from where they are now to where they actually want to be? Even if it's not all the way there, how do I at least help put them on that path and move them forward?
Yeah, excellent. So in terms of technology, like physically or digitally, where do you recommend people call in their cult tribe to? Are we talking about Facebook groups, meetup groups? How do you recommend people connect with their tribe?
Look, it's a great question. I don't think there's a secret strategy. I think, again, what is an alignment for you and what feels good for you? Kind of like the mindset tools that we were talking about. Over the years, I've shifted and done different things. For example, when my business was technically offline, like we weren't really doing anything through social media, but we used to do, actually, funnily enough that you brought it up, we used to do everything through Meetup. So we used to literally hold these Meetup groups. We used to go, we built this community, we'd hold social events, and we'd also do 1 and 3 hour workshops, which then led into a full 2.5 day weekend or a 5-day workshop at the end, right? And so, it was about 5 years ago, and I'd made over $1 million literally through Meetup, through building communities, right? So, that's a great thing to do. Now, that's not in total alignment for me and the life that I'm creating right now, because I love being location free and working from anywhere in the world and doing most of it online. So, yeah, if you want to do that more, then absolutely Facebook groups. But you've got to remember as well that even, your public Facebook page, that is still a community, right? That is still a place to grow a cult tribe. Personally, I haven't done the free Facebook group online thing, although I have a lot of, friends in the industry that have really successfully. I've got a lot of clients where I'm like, go do this. It's awesome. But at the same time, it's just something that hasn't felt amazing for me, so I haven't done it. So I've gone more on the public approach with tribe building. But the minute that they're actually into a paid system with me, they go into different paid tribes. So for example, if they join my membership, then I've got a private Facebook group that's only for those people, and they're part of that tribe. Anyone that works with me at a high level, there's an inner circle, high level Facebook group and tribe. So, there are different levels of tribes, again, depending on the level that they've stepped up and invested with you as well.
Excellent. Excellent. So, Regan, do you have any women business mentors? Are there any women entrepreneurs who inspire you?
Yeah, look, there've been lots of key people along the way. I think ultimately my big person that I always reflect back into is Oprah. I think I just, absolutely love her story and appreciate her for who she is, and very much, she is such a powerful woman that really has grown an amazing tribe and stands in that space. So she's definitely someone that I tap into her energy, and she's someone that has been with me through the years rather than people that come and go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Excellent. So, Regan, tell us, how can other women entrepreneurs work with you?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, there's a range of different things. I mean, I have lots in terms of success mindset, but then also on the personal branding and getting your message out there side of things as well. So, I mean, a lot of people start off in the tribe, which is it's called the Success Tribe, and it's all about creating your external reality and doing it from shifting what's within you, right? So this is a low-end membership which has weekly content, which comes out obviously every single week, which people tap into. And then, of course, like I said, there's a private tribe group through there. So after that, there's lots of different offers and products and price points along the way, right through to working, at a high level with me privately.
Excellent. So, Regan, where can people find you online and learn more about you?
So best thing, you can head to reganhillyer.com and subscribe there, but I'm really active on all the social media channels. I very much, my brand is an extension of me and my life and what's going on in my life right now. So yeah, if you go to any of the social media platforms, it's all under Regan Hillyer. I'm really easy to find. Facebook is probably my main place I hang out, but I do show up everywhere. So make sure you follow me and reach out, but send me a message and say you came from this podcast as well.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Holly. It's been great.
Great. And thank you for listening. And remember to visit hollywharton.com/182 for the show notes on this episode. Thank you.
Thanks so much for listening to the Business Mindset Podcast with your host, Holly Wharton. You can find more information about today's episode, including links for topics that were discussed at hollywharton.com. And if you enjoyed this episode, please remember to head over to iTunes and leave a quick review of this podcast. It just takes a minute. Thank you.